Bye. A minute after 10 o'clock, Small 90.4 FM, Cape Town's best mix of the 80s, 90s and now, Cape Town's best romantic mix of the 80s, 90s and now, between 8 and 11 p.m, Monday to Friday. It's the time for the Power Hour, the final hour of the show, and that between now and 11 p.m, jam-packed with some absolutely fantastic songs, all coming your way to enjoy tonight. And really appreciate so many brand new smileys joining in and coming into the Small 90.4 FM Facebook page and on the Love Lounge page to say that they tune in for the first time, or they've been listening for a while but it's the first time that they've joined in the conversation. It's an open invitation. By all means, come join in. You'll meet some amazing people and you'll get to embark on a wonderful friendship as you move forward on your journey in life. So speaking about your journey in life, at this point in time, if you are having some challenges, some issues there from a health perspective, from a wellness perspective, if you've got some stress issues that you're trying to deal with and not quite sure how to overcome them, if you've got any questions to ask of our guest tonight, then send them through SMS 35904, standard SMS rate supply. You can also call in on 08614 You can tweet at Smile 904 FM. You can use the Smile 90.4 FM app, and you can come chat on the Smile 90.4 FM Facebook page and post your questions there. If you don't want to give your name, if you want to remain anonymous, that's also fine. You can still send your questions through, and you can just say that you'd like to remain anonymous, and we'll do that for you. So my guest tonight is Dr. Faiez Kirsten, medical doctor, business graduate, author, health and wellness expert and researcher, and he certainly has got lots of attributes that he has, and we're going to be chatting about that, his journey in life. He also holds a certificate in EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, a discipline of energy psychology which is used to heal both physical and emotional disorders, and I'm very keen to chat to him also about his safe, alternative and natural cancer cures. So let's find out more about Dr. Kirsten. We'll do that in a few moments time, but do get your questions through tonight. The specialist in the studio, he certainly has the ability to try and help and assist you move forward positively on your journey. So ask your questions tonight. Let's see if we can get you back on track if you're struggling with any issues in life.
Smile Love Songs on Smile 90.4 FM.
Friends, and all the while inside I knew it
7 minute nou na 10 hier op 'n smaal hier op 'n 4FM is die Kaapse beste uit die 80s en 90s en nou jy saam met jou love doc Mebo Bauer ons is saam tot 11 uur elke aand tussen 'n maandag aand en vrydag aand en dis met my love songs tussen 8 uur en 11 uur. The Closer I Get to You, fantastische liedjie daar van Roberta Flack op 'n smaal love songs vanaand. Dis die krag uur, onthou tussen nou en 11 uur die finale uur van die program en ons wissel so lekker tussen die geselsie met die gas in die ateljee en al die lekker liedjies wat ek vir jou vanaand gaan speel, and some absolutely stunning tunes on the way still for us to enjoy together till 11. Thanks to all our smiley friends chatting away. One or two questions have come through already for our guest tonight. So I say a warm welcome to Dr. Faiez Kirsten. Thank you for joining us at Smile 90.4 FM.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Mehboob. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you. And I mean, I'm looking at your CV and I'm reading through this. I'm thinking, so where did you find time to do all these things? I mean, obviously one makes time, but yeah, medical doctor, business graduate, author, health and wellness expert and researcher, founder of an institute, and various other things. You've got a certificate in EFT. Obviously want to chat a little bit more about that. I've had other guests on who practice that too, or use that particular modality in the things that they do. But Faiez Kirsten, the person, if we take away all the accolades and all the attributes and all the rest of it, you started somewhere in life, and you want to tell us a bit about your early life. Yeah,
well, I was born in Port Elizabeth, ended up in Durban. While in Pietermaritzburg, my folks moved to Pietermaritzburg, and I started schooling off there. My dad was a principal out at Howick West. That's just outside Pietermaritzburg.
Okay, yeah, I've been to Howick. That's near where the falls are.
Howick Falls, that's correct. Yes. Yeah. And then I actually started school off in a really strange way. I was 5 years old, and my dad would take me with him to school every morning, and he would just make me sit in the classroom. I wouldn't actually start school; he just said, "Sit in the class,"
Yeah.
And I would sit in the class, and at the end of the year, he said, "Well, write the test with the kids," And I wrote the test, and I passed it. He said, "Okay, go to sub B." And so that's how I started school.
So you weren't officially.
I didn't officially start school.
Wow.
So I don't know if I officially went to school then, if that's the case. But anyway, that's what happened, and we moved from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, and the rest of my primary school was at a school. My father was also a principal.
Yes.
Then went to high school in Park Hill High, good old Park Hill, and then decided to study medicine. In standard 9, I was already said, "No, I'm going to study medicine."
And that was your own choice. You wanted to do medicine.
Yeah, it was my choice. My choice. I found it very interesting and sounded like a big challenge.
Yes,
I love challenges even from those days, and. I managed to do well in matric also, and I was accepted and ended up doing medicine.
Okay.
The first thing that struck me, though, when I went to medical school, especially when I started our clinical years, was how many sick people there were in the world.
True, yeah. And that's just gotten
it just struck
bigger,
me,
isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, at King Edward Hospital, it was like people lying on beds and under beds too,
Yeah.
But anyway, so that thought really stuck with me for up until today, actually. Why is there so many sick people in the world?
True.
Anyway,
yeah.
I don't want to depress the listeners because it's a Smile Radio.
But I mean, you're here to provide some solutions to those challenges as well. And I know through the work that you've done, you definitely have done that and changed mindsets. I think that's also such an important thing.
Yes, that's critical. Exactly. That point there is absolutely critical. Yeah. Absolutely. So
you went to university, you studied, you became a doctor. Some of the things that you talk about, and I'm looking at, and I don't want to call it your CV, but in the information that I've been given.
Your profile.
Just your profile, a little biography there. The different kind of avenues that you've moved into, different to normal medical practice. I mean, so you found you did. I'm sure you did a little bit of soul searching. There were things that maybe happened to you in your life that made you move on this journey. And what were those?
Yeah, interesting question there, Mehboob. I actually wanted to do surgery. I obviously qualified, and I went back to Port Elizabeth. I actually worked as a medical officer at Livingston Hospital, and then met my ex-wife, unfortunately, there.
Well, fortunately at the time, I suppose.
So when people ask me, "Are you married?" I said, "No, I'm single. I used to be double, but I'm single now." But thank goodness I have a beautiful daughter, and if she's listening, hi, Dika. I went to Livingston, worked as a medical officer, then ended up in Cape Town, got married. Ended up in general practice, but I wanted to become a surgeon, so I wrote my primaries while I was in general practice. But life gets to you, Mehboob, like it gets to everybody.
Yeah, sure.
And I wrote the primary, but I couldn't, I got caught up in my practice. I was so busy, I was seeing so many people. But as the years went on, But the funny thing is, after 2 years, I had such a very high bad debt. What they call it, your debtor's book was so bad.
Yeah.
I spoke to my accountant and I said to him, "What's happening? Why so many people owe me so much money?" He says, "Dr. Kirsten, don't you know that you're running a business?" I said, "What? Nobody taught me that in medical school." But anyway, I actually wanted to do surgery, as I said, did the primary, and then I actually had to wait 4 years because I wanted to do initially neurosurgery, brain surgery, and then I thought, I'll switch to eye surgery. But I had to wait 4 years, to get onto the rotation at Groote. So in the meantime, I'm a very restless person, very curious. So I thought, I'm running a business. They tell me I'm running a business. So let me go and learn a bit about business, because everything is a business, they say. Yeah. And I went online and I looked like, what could I do? What course can I do to actually get some knowledge about business, And I was sort of Googling and searching, and I came across UCT's course called the MBA.
Yes.
And I said, wow, this looks interesting, all these, accountancy was in standard 9. My teacher, my class teacher was my accountancy teacher. And she thought I was going to get an A in accounting in matric, and I got a C, and she was like heavily upset with me. I didn't like accounting. But anyway, when I went into the MBA, I just loved it for some reason. But anyway, I saw this course called the MBA, and I thought, wow, I think I'll apply. And the guys was telling me, my colleagues were saying, "Oh, you're nuts. You're never going to get onto the MBA. And what are you going to do an MBA for? It's a commercial degree. You come from the life sciences." Yes. But I don't know. Something's wrong with my brain, I think. And
just an inquiring mind, maybe, hey? So you obtained the MBA then as well?
Yes, at the GSB, Graduate School of Business. I applied, and for some reason, they called me for the interview. And when I walked in there were obviously 2 interviewers, and I didn't know. In retrospect, I found out that one of them was a professor of finance. And so I sat down and they started asking me questions. And for some reason, I just started talking numbers. I didn't know I was a professor of finance. But as I was speaking numbers, every question he asked me, I was sort of quoting numbers. And I see the man smiling, smile radio. And I was wondering, why is he smiling, every time I'm quoting these numbers? And a day later, he said, well, after the interview, they shook my hand. And 2 days later, I think it was, I got a phone call saying, "Dr. Kirsten, you've been accepted onto the program." I thought, wow, fantastic. The surgical rotation at Groote can wait a while. I'll just do the MBA in the meantime.
MBA, That's amazing. We're going to continue our conversation. Obviously, quite a life you've led. From medicine to business, from obtaining a degree in medicine, becoming a doctor, and wanting to be a surgeon, obtaining the MBA degree as well. That's wonderful. And we're going to learn more about some of the other aspects of Dr. Kirsten's life and how he can make a difference in yours, because that's what he's here for tonight too, to answer any of your questions. We've got 1 or 2 that's come through already, and we'll definitely try and make a difference in your life as you move forward on your journey. And the mindset, that's something else we're going to be chatting to him about as well. Ons gaan voort met die Kaapse beste, die 80s 90s en nou die Smal 90.4 FM.
She falls asleep through all the noise. For all I know, we feel the same. She finds all my weaknesses. She knows just what to do. She knows just what to do. No sound. Oh, for all I know, I'm feeling it more and more. We dream the same. Sometimes she comes undone, and she finds all my weaknesses. She knows just what to do. She knows just what to knows just what to do. Only yesterday.
Lekker snit daar van Just Ginger op Smaal dit op in 4 FM. Die Kaapse beste die togters neemt nou met She Knows. My gas in die atelier vanaand is Dr. Faiez Kirsten. Ons geniet 'n lekker geselsie saam met hom. Ons vind uit so 'n bietjie meer oor hom vanaand. And he's here to help provide some solutions to the challenges you might be facing. And he can help pretty much across the board, whether it's medical related questions. He's a doctor after all, but he certainly has other sides and aspects to him as well. As we've heard, he's got an MBA in business, and he certainly is doing a whole host of other healing modalities that he's involved in as well, and we're going to find out about that. Thank you to those who've shared their questions already on the SMS line, and one or two questions coming through on the Facebook page too. So the SMS number is 35904. Standard SMS rates apply. You can send your questions through there. One or two of you have used the app as well. That's fine. Send your questions that way. You can tweet at Smile904FM, and you can chat on the Facebook page and post your questions there, or call in if you like on 08614 preferably call in when the music's playing so we can access your call. Moving back to the conversation then, Dr. Kirsten, or may I call you Faiez?
Please call me Faiez.
All right, so Faiez, tell us a little bit then about, I'm very interested in finding about your interest in different healing modalities, etc. You spoke about in your little profile the certificate that you've got in EFT, emotional freedom techniques, then also the fact that you're director of a health wellness performance institute as well. What is your approach from that perspective in the institute?
Well, look, as I said, I was in general practice for almost 10 years. And then I did the MBA, and I was invited to join a company to run a project. And I, at the time, we realized that, changes needed to be brought about, in the healthcare space, especially in primary healthcare. Anyway, I accepted an invitation, joined the company, but that was a really nasty experience. And really my journey into research in various fields started from that point. Although I had been researching from the business perspective, I'd done a thesis on organizational culture. Mm-hmm. Actually did a thesis on the effects of mergers and acquisitions on organizational culture, climate, and financial performance. And so I was heavy into research at that time. But when I left the company, I realized it was a cultural issue in the company, which was very interesting because I just done the thesis on culture, and a leadership issue. So I started researching leadership from a biological perspective, because I realized at the business school at the time, it was a little bit deficient, the leadership course. Mm-hmm. And given this experience, I thought it'll be interesting to see what happens in a leader's mind, from a biological perspective. And that research really, Mehboob, up until today, I haven't stopped researching based on that initial research into the mind of a leader from a biological perspective. I discovered things that were I didn't even know about. And the research was very new also coming out that I discovered. So it wasn't really mainstream knowledge. And so I branched out from there. I actually went overseas. I lived in Ireland for a while. And then I came back, did some business consulting, and it ended up working on cruise ships in the Caribbean. Okay. And all the time researching. And I was sitting in my cabin one day, and I had acquired all this information, I had tons and tons of information that I'd applied to my own life. Right. And you
obviously got this globally. I mean, this was information that you had researched.
From various, different journals, sources and so forth. Mm. And I started applying this information in my own life, and I saw amazing results, based on quantum physics and neuroscience, and I was sitting in my cabin one day, and I said, I really need to take this out into the world. Yes. Speak to my patients about this, but what do I do? How do I do this? I'm sitting in my cabin, and doctors have a really nice cabin on the ships, and I'm sitting there with my feet up, and boom, this idea came to mind. When you get back home, start something called the Brain Science Academy, because a lot of my research was based on brain science and neuroscience. Yes. And one of the major discoveries at the time was neuroplasticity, where the brain has the ability to change itself. It's moldable. So it's plastic. You know, the brain is not static. It can change. So you can teach an old brain new tricks, actually, as they say. So you're not born with a certain brain, and your brain gets worse as you get older, and then you're going to die with a brain that's worse than what you started off with.
From
that's not true.
Health perspective, speaking about the brain, other guests that I've spoken to and other people that I've met in the holistic healing field, also of the belief that the body can heal itself, they say.
Absolutely.
And that the messages that the brain is supposed to transmit or send through to the body in effect to do that sometimes kind of gets warped because of the way we live a certain lifestyle over the years, and that maybe changes things.
We have no idea of the power we have.
Yes.
To be quite honest with you, that's been taken away from us somewhere along the line.
Yes.
That knowledge of the power that we possess has actually been kept away from us. And I think it's our education system and many other factors. But if people realize the kind of power they have, they'll be shocked. Really. I mean, I discovered, I don't know if it's all the power, but some of it. And so, yes, so I basically started when I got back home, I started the Brain Science Academy, but it was the wrong name because people thought I was a brain scientist. And so I had to change the name to the Health Wellness Performance Institute.
More
and that's
general,
that's how the name came about.
Kind of
Health Wellness
all-encompassing.
Performance Institute.
Okay, great. Well, we'll talk more about what happens at the Institute and your approach, definitely, and more about how we can get back to the fact that the body can heal itself, and we certainly can move forward very positively from that perspective if we have any afflictions and ailments, etc., with the guidance of people like Dr. Kirsten as well. But certainly there are many things I'm sure that we can do ourselves as well. We've got great music to enjoy still. Randy Van Mormer next, and this for you on Cape Town's best mix of the 80s, 90s, and now. It's Smile 90.4 FM.
You packed in the morning, I stared out the window and I struggled for something to say. You left in the rain without closing the door. I didn't stand in your way. Now I miss you more than I missed you before, and now where I'll find comfort, God knows. 'Cause you left me just when I needed you most. Just when I needed you most. Now most every morning I stare out the window and I think about where you might be. I've written you letters I'd like to send, if you would just send one to me. 'Cause I need you more than I needed before, and now where I'll find comfort, God knows. 'Cause you left me just when I needed you most. You left me just when I needed you most. In the morning I stared out the window and I struggled for something to say. You left in the rain without closing the door. I didn't stand in your way. Now I love you more than I loved you before, and now where I'll find comfort, God knows. 'Cause you left me just when I needed you most. Oh yeah, you
Small little bit vir FM Kaap se beste die 80s 90s en nou dis Randy Van Warmer, Just When I Needed You Most, 29 after 10. It's my love songs you love. Doc Maybe Bauer having a wonderful conversation with our guest tonight, and really happy to have him with us, Dr. Faiez, Kirsten. A good conversation off air, and we're definitely having one on air as well. So let's continue then, because we've got a couple of questions and I want to try and deal with some of those that have come through. But just to learn more then about your approach at the institute that you started, the Health Wellness Performance Institute. Yeah, what was your application there, and how have you moved forward?
Well, I realized, I also did a lot of research, and I'm writing another book now on the global health crisis and how we can solve it, each one of us, what we can do, to solve this global health crisis. It's shocking. I mean, if you look at the statistics, 96% of the world is actually sick. 96%. I mean, that is a shocking figure.
Yeah.
And that's after more than 100 years of advances in research and technology. We shouldn't be here.
Correct.
And we need to ask questions, why are we here?
Yeah.
But anyway, so based on that research, I set up this institute to help people and to try and solve a crisis. And my approach there, and what I'm doing is, the mission is to merge medicine with health and wellness empowerment. And it's not just allopathic medicine. In fact, it's not allopathic medicine. It's root cause medicine, trying to find the root cause of a person's problem.
Correct.
And unless you look for the root cause and find it and then do something about it, either eliminate it or avoid it, you're never ever going to help the patient.
Yeah, you'll just be treating the symptoms all the time.
Exactly.
And,
it's a superficial, false paradigm, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I've been an allopathic doctor for many years. Where Western medicine is really good, though, is in trauma and emergency. And I worked in trauma and emergency, and on cruise ships, as I say, we see a lot of trauma and emergencies. And Western medicine is very good there. We stabilize the patient, treat the acute patient in the acute setting. But when it comes to chronic medicine, like cancer, chronic conditions, cancer, autoimmune disease, diabetes, hypertension, mental health disorders, Western medicine falls flat on its face. Allopathic medicine is completely, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's the truth, it's completely useless. I mean, it doesn't help people, and it actually aggravates the problem. That's why the crisis, it contributes a lot to the crisis.
Yes, and it perpetuates that,
It perpetuates it, exactly. So the Institute's mission is to merge root cause medicine with health and wellness empowerment. So I've written a lot of programs which people go through to empower themselves with the knowledge and skills to prevent disease and reverse disease and stay healthy and well, basically. And if they have a clinical problem, then obviously on the clinical side, we treat that, from a root cause perspective.
Would you say it would involve a lifestyle change, though, in most
Absolutely.
cases?
The one program that members must go through is called Optimal Health and Wellness Academy. And I've uncovered or discovered or found that there's 10 different dimensions of health and wellness. And we measure that, and we can show people how healthy and well they are from the perspective of those 10 different dimensions. And it encompasses ideal nutrition, stress-free living, ideal body weight maintenance, 10 different dimensions, right up until spirituality, which science has shown, is important if you want to be healthy and well. And unless you address, your life from those 10 different dimensions and those different perspectives, you won't really be healthy and well.
Okay, good. Well, a good point to end off on for now, but we're going to continue our conversation, and we're definitely going to get to the questions that have come through. Quite a few of you want to remain anonymous. That's fine. Barbara, I've got your question as well. Cheryl, I've got your question too, and then the others who want to remain anonymous, we'll get to your questions in due course.
Wake up, man! Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
Wake up to Bobby and Lindy
Be waking up.
on Smile Breakfast.
An interesting note has just landed on our desk here inside the Smile studio.
Dear Bobby and Lindy, feeling generous. Fireworks tomorrow. I'm bringing all the money from the referee.
What?
What?
What does it? Is that all? Let me see that. So what does he mean? He's bringing the entire 90,000 rand all together in one little basket?
Oh my goodness, we're going to be giving away 90,000 rand tomorrow.
Folks, this is a freaking fortune.
I can't wait. I literally cannot wait.
If you get on the air and if you guess something that has been guessed before, I will reach through this microphone and I will give you such a warme klap. I promise. Don't do that. It's 90K for heaven's sake. So don't mess it up tomorrow.
Oh man, can't wait for tomorrow morning show. It's going to be epic.
Get out of bed. Wake up to the Cape's best mix of the 80s, 90s, and now.
My word, what a gorgeous way to wake up.
With Bobby and Lindy. Weekdays 6 to 9 on Smile 90.4 FM.
Hey, Tubby, you free tonight?
Hey, no can do, buddy. Plans with the missus.
Okay, tomorrow?
No, I can't do tomorrow.
Friday?
Busy.
Next Tuesday? Okay, Mr. Popular, when are you free?
1st October 2017?
With ADT's 365 meal deal, you'll have every reason to go out. Sign up now and get a dining discount card valid for a whole year. You eat out, we'll keep your home safe. T's and C's apply. Google ADT 365 for more. ADT, always there.
Smile 90.4 FM. Smile 90.4 FM het 'n gedragskode geteken wat deur die Uitsaai-Klagtekommissie van Suid-Afrika toegepas word. Kragtens hierdie kode is ons verbind tot die weergee van akkurate nuus, billike kommentaar en programme wat nie skadelik is vir kinders nie, wat nie haat verkondig nie en wat nie sinnelose geweld of eksplisiete seks bevat nie. As u meen dat ons nie aan die kode voldoen nie, kan u die Uitsaai-Klagtekommissie van Suid-Afrika verwittig. Rig klagtes aan. Uitsaai-Klagtekommissie van Suid-Afrika. Posbus 412365, Craig Hall 2024 of stuur 'n faks aan 011 326 3198 of 'n e-pos aan bccsa@nabsa.co.za. Vir verdere inligting besoek www.bccsa.co.za.
Watch South Africa's best young professional golfers teeing it up at the Lion of Africa Cape Town Open presented by Sun International. This tournament is played at the oldest golf course in South Africa, Royal Cape, from Thursday 24 November to Sunday 27 November. Tickets available at Ticket Pro or at the gate. R20 per person per day. Pensioners and children under 16, entrance is free. Plenty of safe parking is available. Come and support the golfing professionals at the Lion of Africa Cape Town Open.
Mebo Bawa. Smile 90.4 FM.
They read your Cinderella, you hoped it would come true, and one day a Prince Charming would come rescue you. You like romantic movies, and you never will forget the way you felt when Romeo kissed Juliet.
And all this time that you've been waiting, you don't have to wait no more. I can love you like that. I would make you my world, move heaven and earth. If you were my girl, I would give you my heart, be all that you need, show you your everything that's precious to me. If you give me a chance, I can love you like that. I can love you like that.
I never make a promise I don't intend to keep. So when I say forever, forever's what I mean. Well, I ain't no Casanova, but I swear this much is true. I'll be holding nothing back when it comes to you.
You dream of love that's everlasting. Well, baby, open up your eyes. I can love you like that. I would make you my world, move heaven and earth. If you were my girl, I would give you my heart, be all that you need, show you your everything that's precious to me. If you give me a chance, I can love you like that. Yeah.
If you want tenderness, I got tenderness, and I see the root to the heart of you.
If you want a man who will understand, you don't have to look very far. I can love you, girl. Oh, yeah. I can love you like that. I can love you like that. I would make you my world, move heaven and earth. If you were my
Small little bit vir FM Kaap se beste die dogters en jenters sê nou dis all for one. I can love you like that. Fantastic liedjie op Smile Love Songs vanaand. A good couple of questions coming through for our doc in the studio, not your love doc, but the actual doc, Dr. Faiez, Kirsten. So let's get to some of them coming through right now. So this one is from somebody who wants to remain anonymous. They say they're struggling with weight during menopause, making them feel very horrible. Only 46 years old. Any advice on what she can do?
Yeah, that's a very specific question. In fact, most of the questions coming in from a clinical perspective are specific to certain situations. But I think to address all of them in one little session here is to say to people that, in fact, this is really one cause of illness, really. And it sounds like, what? Are you really serious, Dr. Kirsten? Like, one cause? Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, the cause of all illness is chronic stress, really, chronic stress. And most of it is subconscious, so you don't really know that you're being stressed. But the stress response is being triggered subconsciously all the time by various stressors, whether they're physical stressors like, not sleeping well, poor sleep hygiene, eating too fast, physical injuries. These are all physical stressors. Then you have chemical stressors. We're exposed to pollution all the time. Most of the time, we're breathing in petrochemicals from exhaust fumes. We're eating foods with toxins in. So those are chemical stressors. They're all triggering the stress response. Most of it subconsciously, as I say. We don't know that, but it's happening. And the most important one, I think, are the psychological stressors. The thoughts you think trigger the stress response. People worry a lot, okay? And then the beliefs you hold, or the cellular memories, which create beliefs, okay? And these are based on previous experiences or even inherited cellular memories that you have. And these are triggering the stress response. But all people are feeling are the consequences of the triggering of the stress response. And those consequences are life problems. They have life problems, relationship issues, and so forth. And then they have health and wellness issues, disease and dysfunction, resulting from the chronic triggering of the stress response.
Yeah.
So health is like a bathtub. The great analogy given by Dr. Lee Cowden, who's a great integrative doctor, he says health is like a bathtub. On the one hand, on the one side, you have these taps, which when you open them, they fill the bath with dirty water. And on the other side, you have these taps. If you open them, they fill the bath with clean water.
Right.
On the unhealthy side, or the dirty water side, the dirty water actually consists of all these stressors, whether it's bad relationships, pollution, poor foods that we eat, processed foods, junk foods, whatever. There's so many stressors, chemical, physical, and emotional, psychological. Yeah. Those are filling your body up with a toxic load, okay? And then you feeling the symptoms of that, the consequences of that. So whether it's presenting with weight gain or weakness in your legs or whatever, eczema, it's all coming from the triggering of the stress response, mostly subconsciously. And so so what you got to do is you got to close off those taps. You got to stop the dirty water getting into your system, okay? And you've also got to open up the drain. So your bowel function has to be good, your kidney function, your lymphatics must be working properly to get that toxins out of your system.
Correct.
Okay?
Yes.
And then you got to start filling your body up with good stuff, proper nutrition, good thoughts, holding the proper beliefs, and so forth. And once you have the bath full with clean water and no more dirty water, then you're optimally healthy and well.
Right.
So all these symptoms and signs that the patients are suffering from are just an indication that your body's out of balance. You're in physiological imbalance, okay? And when I measure these, measure 7 different core physiological functions, such as energy and structure and nutrient transport and so forth. I only measured one person who had no imbalance. I was shocked.
Wow.
But most people are out of balance physiologically because they're being stressed all the time.
Right.
But as I say, it's not what they think of as stress. Conscious stress is when you realize you're stressed. You find yourself in a situation and, hey, I'm feeling stressed because you're stressed.
Yes.
But that's just a small part of stress.
Correct.
Most of the stress is subconscious, and that's the dangerous stress.
Yeah, and that's
because you don't know
body,
that, you don't do anything about it. All you do is you see that you're not eating properly, you're not exercising, you're putting on weight, you're smoking, you're drinking too much. These are all consequences, behavioral consequences of lifestyle, bad lifestyle behaviors because of this chronic stress that you've been experiencing. Yeah.
So then, obviously you've generally given an advice to all those who've asked questions, but I just need to acknowledge some of them.
Yes.
And then we'll speak more in detail. So obviously that was a question from somebody who remained anonymous. So she's struggling with weight during menopause. It makes her feel horrible. So that's a stress.
Well, you see, you have to assess it from a holistic perspective. Yes. There could be many stressors in her life.
Right.
hormonal imbalances, if it is an hormonal imbalance as a result of chronic stress. And so you got to find that root cause and then treat it from there.
Correct,
Obviously,
yeah.
there's many modalities that we use depending on the condition that the patient is suffering from. But you'll find that the root cause, even when it comes to cancer, the main thing that people should look at are their underlying emotional or psychological
Yes, a
stressors.
lot of my guests have spoken about that.
Critical, your beliefs. I mean, these days I prescribe better beliefs.
Is that bottled? Is it in capsule form?
It comes in a bottle, says with a smile on it.
There was another one, again, this one from somebody who spoke about it. It was Barbara, who said about her legs losing power. She walks fine when it comes to steeper stairs. She can't lift herself up. She's lost 30 kilograms, but still people have to help and lift her up when she has to get on a bus or on a plane, etc. Even legs and muscle kind of issues, would that also be stress?
All of it. I mean, it's all chronic stress. All of it, really. 99% of it, 95 to 99% is chronic stress, and that needs to be dealt with. And there's various ways to deal with that.
Okay.
Obviously, it sounds like, it's so simple to treat a patient, but each patient is different.
Yes.
Okay, and you've got to assess each patient, but underlying all of these illnesses, disease and dysfunction, is chronic stress. That's the main thing.
It's the route to getting there, to finding that, and
Correct.
establishing what the issue really is. That's where the work goes in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. We're going to chat a little bit more. We're going to find out more about Dr. Kirsten's approach to treating cancer and from a national perspective as well. And then his final few thoughts as we end off tonight. We're already coming through to the final section of tonight's show.
Where were you when these songs were making memories? Remember renting videotapes and renting the video machine too? Having garage parties, watching Pop Shop, going skating at the showgrounds.
Pyjama partytjies met jou vriendinne, huiswerk afskryf vroegoggend voor skool.
The long, hot December holidays at the beach with your friends. Relive the memories every Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 6 as Smile 90.4 FM takes you back to school with high school hits. We hit the rewind button on your weekend and go back to the best years of your life. High school hits on Smile 90.4 FM, Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Smile Love Songs on Smile 90.4 FM.
Girl, you are to me all that a woman should be, and I dedicate my life to you always.
Mabel Bawa. Smile 90.4 FM.
I remember the days of my life. I recall the faces, mostly yours. Magic moments, life was a mystery. There's no place on earth that we'd rather be. Moving up, going through some changes, storing up the memories. Then you gave me the light of my life. I always gave the best I could give. Sometimes it never seemed like enough, but we never quit when going up top. Do you remember the way it used to be? Never counting the cost was a matter of trust. Covenant cut with lovers for life. I still bear the scar. You still carry the knife. I remember the days of my life. I recall the faces, mostly yours. Magic moments, life's still a mystery. There's no place in it that we'd rather be. This is my life, and I'm passing on the memories.
Pragtig, nee, en dit op Smile op 4 FM. Ek op se beste die 80s, 90s en nou Andre de Villiers met Memories op Smile Love Songs en daardie sê ook geluister na Atlantic Stars so Always. Dis Smile Love Songs en dis altyd saam met jou tussen 8 uur en 11 uur maandag aand tot vrydag aand saam met my your love doc Mabel Bauer. Chatting to another doctor tonight, that's Dr. Faiez Kirsten, having a wonderful conversation with him this evening and really learning so much and also just kind of emphasizing again points that have been made by many of my other guests. I know you've often tuned in and you listen to the other guests who speak about healing modalities and health and all the rest of it, and they certainly also speak very much to the same direction, in the same direction that Dr. Faiez Kirsten is chatting to us about tonight, and how we can make a difference in our life from a health perspective. But moving from health to perhaps an emotional perspective as well, there's another question that's come through Faiez, and this person says they're struggling with looking at the long-term goal of obtaining a PhD degree when there's so much other pressure, expectations from family, etc., which they maybe feel should come first as well, and they need to take that in consideration. What advice can you give this person?
Yeah, look, that sounds like a time management issue, but ultimately, achieving a goal is a scientific process. It's based on science. You can't just achieve a goal willy-nilly, doing your own thing. And so I actually wrote a book after my research on goal achievement, on how to achieve a goal based on brain research findings, and then using the tools and techniques that have been developed from those research findings. So I would suggest, that the person actually look into that, from that perspective. Time management is a whole discipline on its own, of course, but the science of goal achievement, that is crucial, and it involves reprogramming your subconscious like it does for health and wellness and any aspect of life. We program with beliefs that are not working for us, and we got to reprogram ourselves. And once you reprogram your subconscious, your life just changes. And I've witnessed that personally, so I can speak about it. And there's also enough scientific evidence for that, research evidence. Yeah.
So then, getting back to the health and wellness and talking about cancer, you mentioned that earlier on. You have a perspective on that as well, and natural approach to it. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, the person has to, optimize all 10 dimensions of health and wellness. They have to be eating the right foods. If you put, diesel in a petrol tank, the car's not going to go very far. And so if you put things that are unnatural into a body that's a natural entity, it's also not going to work very well, and it's going to break down. It's just I mean, I think it's just common sense. And so it's important to put the right nourishment into your body. That's the first thing. And then secondly, you got to live a stress-free life. And people say, Dr. Kirsten, that's impossible. You can't live a stress-free life. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Now, look, acute stress is normal. Okay. I mean, that is normal. You wouldn't be alive if you didn't have acute stress response. But the chronic stress, you can manage that. I actually wrote a book called Goodbye Stress, How to Live Stress-Free. And so there are ways to, once you reprogram your subconscious, you'll be minimizing that triggering of the stress response subconsciously.
And managing it,
better. Managing much better. And that is crucial when it comes to any disease, including cancer. But you got to optimize, all 10 dimensions. You got to be eating properly, exercising. There's so much to talk about cancer. I mean, and there's brilliant natural ways of treating it.
I want to just bring in another question, which I asked you while we were off air listening to the music, and it seems that Annette Engels and the Love Doc are thinking along the same lines, because I've asked you that question off air, and she's asked it now via the SMS line, so you can then explain that. And she refers to, if all illnesses are stress-related, which is what I asked you, how does Dr. Kirsten explain childhood cancers, which is what we spoke about.
Well, who says children are not stressed also? I mean, kids are also exposed to all these stressors. Kids also have inherited memories, so you actually inherit memories from previous, generations, which make you prone to illness and disease. But they're also exposed to stressors, chemical and physical. And vaccines are one of the stressors, that kids are exposed to now on a massive scale, in more and more countries.
Yes.
And those chemical stressors are making them sick. Autism rates have skyrocketed in some countries, in America especially. And so it's not surprising that kids also get sick. I mean, they're exposed to the same things we are.
Right. True. Okay. Thanks for that answer. And then moving on to the other aspect of the healing modalities that you do, the EFT. And I'm not asking you to transfer money into my account for that. But so EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Just explain to us a bit about that.
Well, when I was doing my research, and when I first came across the manual on EFT, and I read it, I downloaded it, read it, and I actually burst out laughing in a sense. I thought this is like funny. It's ludicrous, because I was coming from an allopathic paradigm, and this was like sounding very ridiculous to me at the time. But I kept on reading it, and I spoke about quantum physics, and it really grabbed my attention. And I sat probably for 3 hours studying this manual. And I thought, if this is true, then this is the answer to a lot of the problems we face, And the funny thing was, I think a few days later, as I was working in my study, my daughter actually came to me and she said, Dad, I think she was, I don't know how old she was, but she was still in school. And she said, Dad, look at my lip, it's swollen. And I said, wow, Sidika, it's very swollen. And obviously she had an allergic reaction to something. And if I hadn't known about didn't know about EFT, I would have reached for the antihistamines. But I remember the case that I read about, EFT case, where a patient had an allergic reaction at a party. And while they were waiting for the paramedics to come, somebody at the party knew about EFT and did EFT on this person having an allergic reaction. And by the time the paramedics arrived, the person was completely fine.
Wow.
And that case came to mind, and I said, Sidika, let's try EFT on you quickly,
So what is the process involved?
It's tapping on certain meridian points and bringing to mind certain thoughts and beliefs and so forth that you want to change. And in her case, it was the swollen lip, and then she was tapping and saying, what she needed to say about the swollen lip. And as she was tapping, and I watched her lip, and it actually went down like in front of my very eyes. Whoop, went back to normal.
Wow.
I mean, I was blown away. I mean, nobody had to convince me about EFT then,
And she did it herself.
She did it herself, because I told her what to do.
Right.
But she really loves EFT. She's been doing it for years now.
Okay.
And then I went and did the certificate in EFT. That's what spurred me to learn more, and I did the certificate in EFT. And it's a brilliant modality to heal physical and emotional illnesses.
Okay, great stuff.
Tapping.
Well, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for being with us. There's so much more we could have discovered about the work that you do and how you can help others. But is there any way people can get hold of you, a website or contact details that you'd like to share with us tonight?
They can contact me on 078 416-2673.
Okay.
And email me at Faiez, Faiez, at brainscience.co.za.
Great stuff. I'll post those details on our Smile 90.4 FM Facebook page as well. Thanks for being with us. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, you're very welcome, Mahbub. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Great stuff. There we go. Dr. Faiez Kirsten, obviously a man of many talents who can certainly do his level best to try and help you, and appreciate the comments that he shared tonight, and certainly in concurrence with a lot of the advice that's been shared with other guests that I've had on on the show as well. Very much speaking in the same vein. Wishing him everything of the best in his journey in life. And thanks to everyone for sharing your questions. Obviously, the answers that he gave, kind of one answer fits all kind of perspective. But I think so true that our lifestyle is certainly something that we need to look at when it comes to moving forward positively on our journey in life. Thank you everyone for being with us. Appreciate the comments coming through. And just want to say thank you also to Antoinette Nirvana Langer from Nirvana Spirit Promotions and the Gnostic Holistic Festivals, connecting and networking holistic spiritual well-being, for arranging for Dr. Kirsten to be with us on the show tonight. All our smiley friends, appreciate your comments and your thoughts tonight. Thank you very much for being with me. And I look forward to our final session of Smile Love Songs tomorrow night between 8 and 11 p.m. Remember to cherish each and every moment in the company of the special people in your life. Let them know as often as you can that they are important to you, that you love them dearly. I love you all. Bye for now.
You may think it's impossible to crack the Smile secret sound, but it can be done. And here's the proof.
I would say it's twisting the cap off an ice-cold, original flavored sparkling water bottle. Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Well done! 10,000 Rand is yours. You got it.
Stay tuned 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays. Tell us what the Smile secret sound is, and you could be our next winner. Only on Smile 90.4 FM. More info, T's and C's on smile904.fm.